A promotional consideration has been provided by this special offer from Diamond P Sports.
It's finally here. And they walked away 5. Spectacular racing action on asphalt, dirt, and water. You've heard about it. Now own it. Non-stop excitement the entire family will enjoy. Jaws will drop and eyebrows will raise as you watch drivers walk away from white knuckle crashes. NHRA, monster trucks, NASCAR boats, outlaw sprinters, swamp buggies, bikes, and more. It's all here. Call the 800 number on your screen now and order your copy of And They Walked Away 5.
As the smoke clears and the sun sets in the west, or the left, or whichever side that is over there. This is the finals in funny car. Here comes Mark Oswald. Always does those short little burnouts.
Bill Schultz has finally started to bring the horsepower around on this In-N-Out Burger Dodge, but I don't think he's going to have enough today for Jimbo Ermilovich and Al Hofmann's unsponsored entry. He's been awfully consistent all weekend long. He knows what it's going to take to get down this racetrack. I don't see him make a mistake. Steve, what's your opinion of this final round?
Well, you're right. Bill Schultz has put his famous In-N-Out double-double tune-up on this car. More nitro, more blower boost, more ignition lead. If I was Mark Oswald, I'd sit real low in the seat.
Mark Oswald, who won his first race in 1982 in Top Fuel. He beat Jeb Allen at Englishtown in his first funny car win at the Grand Nationals. In '83, he beat the Snake. This will be a serious test right here. I believe Al Hofmann is on a mission. Mike Edwards had some luck throughout the day. It did not last into the finals. I do not believe the In-N-Out Burger team has enough juice here to take out Al Hofmann. Got some flames on the top end. And Al Hofmann's in some trouble at the far end of the racetrack after getting the win. NHRA Safety Safari will be, as always, right on the scene. And still some flames coming out from underneath the race car. They've got those onboard extinguishers to knock those flames down pretty quickly. Mark Oswald smoked the tires right out of the starting box, and then Al Hofmann's car came through. He had a great run going at the quarter-mile mark, and as you can see, the body on that race car is still on fire. There's the NHRA Safety Safari right there on top of it. We'll come back and check out the condition of Al Hofmann in the race car in just a moment. We've also got the Top Fuel finals coming up live right here on TNN.
You are with eyesight to see exactly what's going on.
Welcome back to the Mac Tools Gatornationals, everybody. Bob Fry with Steve Evans and Casey Spurlock, and we just saw Al Hofmann get the win. Let's take a look at that again. It was certainly an inferno as it went through the quarter-mile mark. You'll see the car in the far lane. Mark Oswald smoked the tires, and Al looks like it's got a perfect run going. The race is over at this point. Now watch as Al gets down just to about the quarter-mile mark, and then you'll see some stuff flying out. There he is, burst it into flames, and he is engulfed in fire right now. These cars have a tremendous safety system, onboard extinguishers to handle that. Al, unfortunately, has been in these situations before and has done a great job of handling the race car, keeping it right in the middle of his lane right there. So let's go down to the far end of the racetrack and see if we get an update with Steve Evans.
Well, Bob, the scene when we got here was unbelievable. The Al Hofmann car was upside down, straddling the rail. The roll cage was on the track side of the guardrail. The motor and the rest of the car was on the grass side of the guardrail. Al was upside down, hanging literally off this rail, but talking to NHRA Safety Safari and their medical personnel. They took the car, as you can see now, and they have righted it and pushed it over on the other side of the rail. Al was able to help himself, help them, get him out of the car, and he stumbled over to where they are now working on him. I have no reports as to his condition other than he was talking to them, and I physically saw him able to kind of help himself get to the stretcher. Crew Chief Jimbo Ermilovich is looking over the damage here. Helen Hofmann is down as well. And as soon as we know exactly what his condition is, we'll let you know. We're not going to make any guesses. That's not fair to anyone. All we can tell you is he was conscious.
You know, unfortunately, Al Hofmann has had a lot of experience with fires like this. And Al Hofmann is in great shape. And that counts when you're going through a terrible fire like that, because you really have to hold your breath inside the car. The flames are not only hot, but they're toxic. And as much as you're trying to hold your breath, the vacuum inside of the car with the hot flames are trying to get you to actually suck in that toxic air, which is the last thing you want to do. Like I said, Al Hofmann has been through this quite a bit, so he knew exactly what to do. If you notice, the car stayed straight in the middle of the racetrack. My guess is that car blew a tire on down the racetrack, and that's what put Al Hofmann into that guardrail. Al Hofmann is not the kind of driver that loses focus on the end of the racetrack and doesn't get that car stopped without hitting anything. I know my pal Al had a little problem down there, and that's what caused that violent accident. Let's go up to Bob Fry and see if he's got any more updates.
Well, we don't have an update yet on the condition, but you're absolutely right there, Casey. And Al Hofmann, who has been around the drag racing world for quite some time, ran a lot of match races in and around the eastern part of the country, and surprisingly enough, did not win his first national event until 1991. It seems like he's been on the scene and very competitive for quite some time, but he has had some mishaps. He's an outstanding driver, in good shape, and knows what to do in a situation just like that. Let's see if we get an update right now. Let's go to the far end of the racetrack again, and Steve Evans.
Well, Dan Brickey is the lead man on the scenes, the head of NHRA's Emergency Medical Services. What can you tell us about Al Hofmann?
Well, Al never lost consciousness during this accident. The car was upside down on the rail, but Al was still awake. Injury to the right lower leg and to the right arm. Did not appear to suffer any burns at this point. Going to be lifted out of here by Shan's helicopter to the hospital.
One tough customer.
Very tough.
Okay, let's all pray for Al Hofmann, but the report sounds fairly favorable from Dan Brickey.
You know, these cars really are designed, and sometimes it sounds cliche when you talk about this, but they're really designed to withstand impacts like that and the fires like that. And as Casey was saying, the big problem a lot of times, all that smoke and fumes that get inside, but they are constructed to withstand the impact and, of course, to keep the driver controlled and in a controlled substance in that roll cage that they have right there. So it is a good thing and good news we have there from Dan Brickey and from the NHRA Safety Safari and from the medical staff out there at the far end of the racetrack. And we will keep you posted, hopefully, if we have an update here before we leave the air here on our TNN coverage of the Mac Tools Gatornationals. And lots of great things coming up right here on TNN in the immediate future, of course. TNN, the Nitro Network, but also lots of great motorsports. And for your favorite variety of motorsports, it's all coming up right here on the Nashville Network. Don't forget, also coming up a little bit later on tonight, you're going to see fishing with Roland Martin and fishing with Orlando Wilson. 9 o'clock and 9:30 coming up right here, as we also have some great outdoor shows right here on the Nashville Network. Roland Martin and Orlando Wilson, kind of like the John Force and Jim Yates of the fishing world. So stick around. We've got more live Mac Tools Gatornationals coverage coming up right here on TNN.
Just bear with us, folks.